All right, welcome to the first day of your business. All right, raise your hands if you've been with real estate, this brokerage or any other, 6 months or less. All right, 6 months or less. Okay, fair enough. 3 months or less.
Right around there.
Okay, 2 months or less. Okay, so Eric, let's start with you. How long have you been in the business?
In about 2 months
2 months.
or less, like you said.
Two months or
something-
less,
yeah,
all right?
Yes.
Natalia, how long have you been licensed as an agent?
Since February 2024.
February 2024, okay. Ron, you're 2 months or less?
October.
October?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So would it be fair to agree we're all kind of in that same boat? Right? So in this room, how many transactions have been completed? Susan, we'll start with you.
I have one, I've sold one house.
You sold one property, which is phenomenal for that short a period of time, right? So
Yeah.
well done.
I have a buyer's appointment set up tomorrow morning.
And so you're already working on your next one. Love that. Have you gotten anything yet?
Just some leads.
Just some
this
leads,
year.
nurturing through trying to figure it out? Okay, great. Erica, on the phone here, or on the phone, on the magical Zoom in the world, how long have you been licensed and how many deals have you done?
I've been licensed since June. I was an ISA before that, so I had one transaction as an ISA and 4 since June.
Fantastic, fantastic. Okay, so for those of you who don't know what an ISA is, it's an inside sales agent, so they handle all the inbound leads. A lot of times they'll be setting appointments for other agents on teams. Actually, that's where I got my start. So let me tell you guys a little bit, now that we kind of know who's in the room. Oh, and Ray, how many have you done?
I have not actually done any transactions. I just
Not
have
yet.
my.
Just your listing, your personal listing, which is a great way to learn, by the way. So let me tell you who I am.
I've tried. though.
You're what?
I said I haven't really tried though.
Well, that's why you're here today.
that's-
Today
but that's
starts
why I'm
trying.
here is-
Yes, today
yes.
starts trying.
Yes.
So my name is Shanna Blummel. I've been with Keller Williams for 9 years. I started on Dan Holt's team. If you know him, you understand. No, just kidding. I love Dan. Started on Dan Holt's team as his executive assistant and realized that wasn't my best use of talent. I don't have the greatest attention to detail. So putting me in an administrative role was not, I'm a very big picture, visionary type, or want to be peopling all the time. That's where I get my energy. So it wasn't a good fit for me. So in 2016, I did the KPA. Who's familiar with the KPA? Okay, KPA is the Keller Personality Assessment. You have one in your inbox, I promise you. If you have onboarded here at KW, you've got one. If you don't think you've gotten one, let me know. I'd be glad to resend it to you. And what it does is it kind of pairs you with where your job fit in the industry, what's going to give you like energy, right? Just because it says maybe I'm a low fit for a single agent doesn't mean I won't be a rock star single agent. It just might be a rub, right? I may not get energy from it. I may not feel like my talents are best served in that role. But it also is going to share with me where my areas of growth might be, what I need to look around the corner and see. It might even present, which in this case it did, what I might be better at. And so it told me I would be a great ISA. I had a very, very high fit for an ISA. And I was like, well, what's an ISA? What is this? So I got licensed and I became an ISA on our team and I helped Jen Davis grow our buy side to up to 250 deals a year on the buy side. At that time, I had smaller kids at home. So I couldn't be out in the field nights and weekends and things like that. I had to be home. So I kept my role as an ISA, but every now and then I would start filling in for agents who were overbooked or on vacation or things like that. Well, then we ended up losing an agent and I got in the field and closed 7 deals in 1 month. And I thought, I think I might be pretty good at this. However, kids still young at home. So I stayed in the role I was, but kind of took on a more managerial role. I became the director of sales for that team. Going back to my KPA, I noticed I'm a really, really high fit for a productivity coach. What's a productivity coach? So I started Googling. I am a Google fairy, okay? I love Google. It's the answer to all things. You do have to fact check it though. So I Googled it and I tried to figure out what is this? So then I learned that it's really just holding agents accountable to their own goals. Sound familiar for anybody who's in my coaching program? Yeah. So I decided that's how I was gonna run direct sales for this mega team that we were on. I did one-on-ones with our agents. I nurtured them. I helped them script practice, or excuse me, conversation practice. I don't want to use that word. Role play through situations and scenarios. When they were struggling in the field, I went out in the field with them to figure out where the gaps were, right? Got to the point where I was like, I want more. I want to work with more people, more than the 5 agents I get the pleasure and was so blessed to work with. So then I made a choice to come over to the Market Center. And I do it with the productivity coaching program. And I love it. It's fantastic. I wake up every day, like maybe I don't do backflips out the door, but I'm very excited to come to work and work with my agents. I also love working with just agents in general in the marketplace. So that's who I am. This is my contact information. Please feel free to text me, call me, smoke signal, email, whatever works for you. I'm good for it. Okay. Just not after 8 o'clock because I will not message you until 7 o'clock the next morning. And the later it goes, the earlier I go. Right. So if you're messaging me at 10 o'clock at night, you're getting one at 6 a.m. Okay. All right. So first question I have for you guys. What's Ignite? Does anybody even know what this is? Don't all jump up at once.
Skills to spark a great career.
Oh my goodness, it's almost as if you read it. You know, I have printed out just in case you need it. I didn't know if you had ordered a book or not. It's igniting your career, right? It's sparking your career. It's figuring out where do you start. Now, many of you have already been in the business. Many of you have already seen certain things, been through a transaction, been through some coaching, understand that. But the foundations never get old. They never get tired. So I've had agents in Ignite who have been in the business 6 years. But guess what happens in 6 years? You forget the basics. You forget those foundations. You actually forget the changes that have been happening. So this is a really great course for whatever state of real estate you're in. Something to know about Keller Williams is we're big on mindset, okay? Mindset and activity, the only 2 things you can control. The way you think of it and what you do with it, okay? That's it. Erica, if you can add your contact info to this, oh, I could do that. Yes, absolutely. Erica, I will handle that as soon as class is over. All right, so let's go ahead and get started here. Maybe. We all know that I'm not the tech wizard here. All right, so we're going to go into 4 sections. Ignite is going to be 4 series of courses long, usually about 4 classes in each. Sometimes there's more. We're going to start the first 4 sessions are going to be Friday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Okay, so today is just your intro course. So you're going to get some stuff today, but it's nothing that's going to be earth-shattering or groundbreaking, but we have to all start somewhere. So we're going to start about being the real estate expert. We're going to talk about your value add, your value proposition, how the Market Center can help you. Then we're going to move into my most favorite category, lead generation. Why is lead generation my favorite? Because it's the foundation of your business. With no leads, no business. All right, so what's cool about lead generation is it's not a one size fits all. What works for Ray may not work for Camila, may not work for Natalia, but it might work for Eric, right? So what we need to do is figure out where you are strong, right? Susan, we've had many talks about where you feel most comfortable, right? You've almost got an avatar of your perfect client, right? And so she knows exactly where to go to find those people. And that's what I want for each of you. Now, we're newer in the business, so we'll probably take people that maybe later in our business, we'd be like, yeah, I don't think that's a great fit for me. It's your choice because you're a business owner. Welcome to your business, okay? Then we'll go into lead follow-up, which is the #1 problem with real estate agents. I don't know if y'all noticed, but we're not great at A, showing up on time. No offense. Yeah, you're fine. This is the first class. It's realtor standard time. And #2, at following up. Do you know it's an alarming statistic? It's in the 80% that if somebody could remember who their agent was or that agent had followed up with them, they would use them again. But yet 50, 60% do. Why do you think that is? They're not following up. Yeah, they're not following up, right? How about this one? This is my favorite. This kind of goes into lead generation, but if I call you and you don't call me back, I just let you go. What if I called you and you were in the middle of 50 things and then my call got lost in a million other things? And it wasn't that you intentionally didn't call me back, but we're really good mind readers, because I'm going to take that as, oh, I've annoyed them. They don't want to work with me. I'm just going to delete their number. I'll take them off my list. You're really bad mind readers. Okay. Just so you know, that is not what that means. The absence of a response is not no. It's just not right now, or the timing was off. Try again. I've got a great story that I'll share with you later, but I followed up with somebody for 2 years with 0 response, and they called me 2 years later to list their house. Because I continued to follow up. Don't stop until they say stop. When they say stop, that's your cue to go, okay, I'll remove you from my list. Thank you. There? And then we're gonna finish up with the transaction, how to bulletproof that transaction. Make sure that you didn't just do all that work to get to the point to then let it fall apart, right? And then we're gonna talk about how you manage your business from there. And then we're gonna set you up with the right kind of resources. You guys need CPAs, accountants, right? You guys should all have LLCs. You should be running profit and loss statements. And if you're like, what is she even talking about? You're in the right room, I promise. And you're in the right company because we're gonna teach you how to do those things. There are resources like Landon, who was down here earlier. Landon is our market center administrator. It's a fancy word for the money man. He handles the money. He makes sure that we're profitable. He also runs classes on profit share and P&Ls, things that we're gonna talk about later. Profit and loss statements, all right? Okay, so as you can see, this is everything that you've got going on. We're gonna start with Spark Your Career. Monday, we're gonna talk about Embrace Your Job. Tuesday, Connect with Your Market, and Wednesday, Define Your Value. So you know what's coming. We're gonna be sitting for 2 hours from 1 to 3. I do like breaks, I do like moving around, and I do like engagement. I do not like lecture style, even though I talk a lot. I wanna have engagement, and I will tell you a little secret about myself. I'm super patient. I'll wait up here for 5 minutes. It will not bother me at all to have silence. And if you're in my coaching program, y'all know that's true. Okay. There will be homework assigned and there will be criteria to graduate from Ignite. And I'm going to go through all of that with you. Fair? Any questions so far?
No.
All right. So today, a new way of thinking followed by culture, your KW value, your market center value, resources, career vision, and daily success. And then we have what we call ahas. Ahas are, first off, the light bulb. Aha, I get it. Right. Secondly, it stands for agents helping agents. Have you ever been in a room and there's a discussion, a mastermind, something? Also, I move around a lot, so just don't get sick. And somebody asks a question and that sparks a thought in your own brain. And it makes you start to go, oh, that makes more sense. I didn't even know I didn't understand what was being discussed. That's what agents helping agents is. They're ahas. So Ray may say something and Ron is like, whoa, that's awesome. I didn't even think of it that way, right? Love collaboration. I love engagement. I love productivity. I love the talk, right? A lot of times in group coaching, we call it the dumpster fire because it just ignites something and everybody's got something to say and everybody's learning something. So I think that's really awesome. All right. So before we jump in, I want everybody to share their name. We all know now how long you've been in the business. Can I start with you? Yeah. Share your name and maybe something fun about yourself. Because for the next 20 days, these are your people. Okay? You're going to build some friendships in here.
Okay, so I'm Camila Palma. I'm original from Venezuela. I'm not from here, so Spanish is my first language and something fun. I'm always late for everything, so.
In all fairness, she has a baby, all right? So
Yeah, 5 months old.
Oh.
baby.
Yeah.
Very good.
Ray Kittle. I don't really know anything really fun. I'm always late. I don't have a baby. I've got two teenage boys. But I don't know. I do real estate now, and I also just started a remodeling company. So that takes up a lot of time. So yeah.
Pretty awesome though. They kind of go hand in hand. All right, Susan.
I'm Susan Langston, and I am, I got my license in August and started here in, I guess, sort of in August and September. Anyway, I'm doing 2 other jobs right now in addition to this, but I'm working my way out of the other jobs. So something fun about me is I have 2 Cavalier King Charles Spaniel dogs, and they're like my babies. But my babies have grown up now, and I've started to get what a lot of people, when their kids start to grow up, they start to get the baby.
Like withdrawals.
Yeah, and so I've been looking at a lot of puppy pictures.
There is somebody here who's
trying
selling
to-
little baby puppies.
I'm
The Aussie Doodles.
trying to convince myself that 3 dogs is too much, but
No,
I just
not when
keep
they're little.
looking. So, but they're so much fun. I really enjoy them too.
I'm the worst person to be around if you're even talking about getting a pet. I'm gonna do it, buy 3 of them. Oh my gosh. I'll come over and help you.
So what you're saying is I'm never introducing you to my wife. 'cause
Probably not.
We already have 3 dogs and a cat.
I can't get my husband to let me have any more than the 2 doodles we have. They are 60 pounds and obnoxious, so I kind of get it. But yeah, you should introduce us.
No.
So someone posted in the Keller Williams Facebook group about the little Aussie doodles.
Yep, she raises them, like she breeds them.
Is that the one that?
Yeah, you definitely need to hit her up because they're really cute.
Yeah,
Wouldn't hurt just to talk, but you know, we digress.
I'm Jackson Dill. I started with Keller Williams, I think like beginning of November.
Mhm.
I love to hunt, never anything hunting. I hunt pretty much everything. I grew up on a farm outside of Marshfield, so that's how I spend most of my time, that and work and school. So
Love it. And starting his career off right. 19?
it's not.
19. Man, I wish at 19 I had the thought process to do it. I'm proud. All right.
I'm Natalia Kavinsky. My first language is Russian. What else? I have 4 kids, 2 adults, children, and then teenager girl and a toddler who is
Mhm.
4. So I
I feel
won't be
real bad for
here.
this side of the room in case anybody's.
So I won't be here all the time, but I'll be in a chat. We have a little farm that I take care of. And I actually started my real estate in February of last year, kind of new to the business. And in September, I opened up a tax business because that's what I did in Oregon for 20 years. So kind of juggling a little bit
And it's
everything.
about to be hot season for that, isn't it?
Yes, so.
Oh my goodness. Very cool.
Merrick Brown, I got my license, I think it was like mid-November, somewhere around there, November 20th, something like that. But I have a 9-year-old daughter who just got her aerial for the first time. She's been in dance for like 3 or 4 years, so she was super excited to get that. No hands, I don't know how she does it, but anyway. And also, I guess the funny thing is I'm a big Raiders fan in this world of Red Kingdom in this state, so.
As long as we all are respectful, we can each coexist with
Right.
different teams. It's fine.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Very good, very good. All right, we're gonna end it with you, buddy.
I'm Ron Parker. I have my license since October-ish. No deals yet, but I have 3 buyers right now I'm working with. Fun fact, I'm a bit of a Disney theme park nerd. Go 6 to 10 times a year. Going to Disneyland Paris in March, so I'm excited about that.
That's
I haven't
wild.
been there yet.
Have you talked to Mike Brown about this yet?
No.
Yeah, you need to.
No. Oh, and also another fun fact, I just found out I'm gonna be a grandpa in July for the first grandparent or grandbaby.
That's so
Wow.
exciting. Yeah, one day I'll get there.
The
I'm in
grandchild will
between.
be so happy since you're like
Right.
Disneyland,
I
right?
know, right? Like,
You're
how do
gonna be
you-
a
Disney
fun-
trip with the baby, so.
That's right, like you just automatically become the best. I love that, I love that. Very good. All right, so now that we know the room a little bit, I want you guys to get comfortable. Be comfortable being around each other. Be comfortable relying on each other, asking each other questions, use each other for support. A lot of times after an Ignite, we'll wrap up. We give the homework and sometimes the group will get together and either stay in the room or find a conference room and go do some of the work together. Productivity breeds productivity. Surround yourself with people doing the things you're doing or the things you want to be doing, all right? All right, anyone can do it, not everyone will you? This was a quote from Gary Keller from the book, The Millionaire Real Estate Investor, MREI. Who has read the MREA, Millionaire Real Estate Agent? Not one person in
I'm
this
about
room.
halfway through.
Halfway through?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, if you all need a copy, come see me after class and I will give you a copy on me. It is a great book. The first time you read it, it will go completely over your head. The second, third, fourth, and 10th time you read it, it makes sense. I refer to it like a success book, right? Like when I need to focus on one thing, maybe it's the organizational chart or the economic model, because it's all the systems and models laid out. I'll go back to those sections and reread. I'm on my second one of the same book. because the first one just got all tattered. It's got, I write in it, it's got highlights, it's got stick-it notes, it's got all kinds of stuff. Definitely get one. All right, so what does this mean? Anyone can do it, not everyone will you?
You have to make yourself go.
Nobody's there to say, Jackson, you gotta be here at 8 a.m. You don't leave until your work is done. And by the way, here's the work you're gonna do. This is not what this is.
You gotta compromise yourself to it.
Yeah, and it's completely customizable too, right? Anyone can do it, not everyone will. Meaning, we're gonna give you all the foundations. We're gonna give you the best practices. We're gonna give you all of it. We're gonna give you the encouragement, the motivation, the mindset, the tools, everything is your choice to do something with it. You can either choose to be a spectator in this, or you can choose to get in it and do it. But I promise you, if you don't do the work, you will not be here next year. And I say that with all the love in my heart. I will love you right out of this business, right? I want you to be here, which is why I'm dedicating the next 20 days to this group. Normally, I bring in instructors, but this time I wanted my hands on it. I wanted to see the faces in the room and I wanted to make sure the content was being delivered. All right, so the biggest thing you can do for me is leave this room every day and go do the work. Be accountable to the work, set the goals you want to set, and then come back and let's share the success. Being accountable to the numbers means that you are accountable to the numbers. You're going to tell me what you want to do. You're going to set a goal for that. And guess what? When you report back 0, that's a number. It's not a number to be proud of. It's not a number to make excuses for, but it's a number nonetheless, a number to grow from. Okay? There will be wins, there will be losses, there will be accountability, and there will be fun. All right? Also, I should mention, if we do have any kind of snow days coming in, I usually just do it from home. I'll Zoom it from home. I do not like to cancel things, like ever. I like consistency. If I want.
Supposed to snow Sunday.
Sunday, not Monday, but in the event that the Market Center does close, which we usually follow Springfield Public Schools. So if the Market Center is closed, this will just be Zoomed at 1 o'clock, normal time, the same Zoom, all right? So we're gonna start here with the 6 personal perspectives, or what we call the 6 PP. I believe it's in your participant guide if you want to follow along. I think on like the first or second page, right? I will also say, I don't always stick to this. So if you are that person who needs to write on every single page, I'm maybe not the best instructor for you. So we may flip through different. Did you order a book?
I actually want to order one.
Okay.
Can I still, or?
Yeah, we
you have
can
an
do
extra one
that.
I
So
can
what
pay
I'll do for today is I'll give you
Because I did get the
digital, yeah,
one, but
here.
I don't
wanted
really like it.
And I don't see it anymore.
It was emailed out in one big thing. So what we'll do is when we wrap up today, I'll get a list of everybody who's in this room and make sure everybody gets everything they need, okay? All right, so the 6 PP, has anybody heard of this before? All right, so 6 personal perspectives. It's the way successful people approach their problems and challenges. It's about mindset and success. So number 1 is commit to self-mastery. 2, commit to the 80-20 principle. 3 is move from E to P, which is entrepreneurial to purposeful. 4 is make being learning-based the foundation of your action plan. 5 is removing limiting beliefs, and 6 is be accountable, which is my favorite word. You're gonna hear it a lot. I love accountability. You know why I love accountability? Because talent thrives in accountability. Hear that. If you are one of those who thrive in an accountable setting, you're talent. Now, if you look at accountable settings as micromanagement, let's really dig in deep and figure out what that's about. All right, so committing to self-mastery, know your goals, right? Know your goals, know your strengths, and I don't like weaknesses. We'll call it areas of opportunity, areas of growth. I'm definitely a glass half full kind of person. Know how to work with both your strengths and your opportunities to seek and master the necessary knowledge, skills, and habits to reach your goals. I cannot stress how important habits are. We have a lot of bad habits. Who snoozes their alarms? Raise them high, friends. 15 times, my husband hates it. He's like, why don't you just get up at 7:15? Why do you gotta get that alarm at 6:30? I go, because that's my process of waking up. Right? Like that's how I like to, and I don't have an obnoxious alarm. It's very sing-songy. It's like birds chirping almost. And he's like, I hate it. So by the way, you will marry somebody, this is for you mainly, you're gonna marry somebody who's a polar opposite than you,
Mhm.
okay? You're gonna want it cold, she's gonna want it hot, socks, no socks, all the things. But this is committing to self-mastery. Okay, 80-20 principle. The reason I don't go too into deep dives on this is because we will teach an entire day class on the 6 personal perspectives. It is 100% a mindset class, okay? So have you ever heard that 80% of the money in this world is made by 20% of the people? Many things follow this 80-20 principle. You wear 20% of what's in your wardrobe, right? Who wears 80% of what's in their closet? Not I. Okay, well, I don't know. Maybe you've already gotten rid of the 80%. So I just recently did this exercise. I'm not a big shopper, but I am a good, big hand-me-down kind of girl, meaning nothing I'm wearing except my shoes and my socks were bought for me. Oh, well, maybe some other unmentionables, but for the case of this, my shoes and my socks, everything else was hand-me-down, meaning I did a trade, a clothing trade, a swap. My daughter bought it. I wear it, whatever, right? So my whole closet isn't even me. 80% of what's in my closet, I don't wear. So I got rid of most of that, maybe 80% of my 80%, because I'm still holding out for fitting in those one jeans. You know what I'm talking about, ladies? Yeah. So this 80-20 means 20% of your actions give you 80% of your results. In this industry, we call it your top 20%. How do you stay in your 20%, right? There's the job, there's 100% of things you got to do, right? But is doing the paperwork part of your 20% that makes you money, or is it just part of the job?
It's part of the job.
It's part of the job, right? So what we teach you to do is master your 20%, which is negotiating contracts, lead generation, lead follow-up, writing offers, closing deals, right? Those are your jobs. We're going to talk about what those jobs are and how you apply them. But chasing paperwork, reporting to your P&L, tracking your numbers, some of these things are very important to your business, however, are not your dollar producing activities. Your dollar producing activities are what's your top 20%. And then you leverage and hire for the 80% activities, right? So what's a way, Susan, you know this, that you leverage off your paperwork, that 20%, that 80%? How would you do that if you had to leverage your paperwork, meaning your contract to close?
Oh, I don't know that I understand the question, but as far as using my my leads, following up with my leads.
No. So if, let's say you go under contract
Okay.
and you've got all this paperwork to do to get it to closing,
Oh, send it to the transaction coordinators.
right, that's leverage, right? So now, instead of Susan, yeah, I didn't phrase it well. So instead of Susan following that paperwork all the way through, she's gonna give it to somebody else who that's their 20%, is attention to detail, making sure that all the check boxes are checked for compliance and that all the things that need to get done, and you show up on time.
And I would say it's really worth it. It doesn't cost that much. And oh my goodness, they are so good.
It's so great. Once you do it, you will never want to do paperwork again. You're like, this looks like a job for somebody who likes to do this kind of stuff. It's not me. Okay. So the third one was E2P, moving from entrepreneurial to purposeful. So we all have this natural talent, right? You guys can see the bar. That's your ceiling of achievement, right? Any athletes, student athletes? You played football, right? All right. Let's say you never practiced. You just showed up. You could get to a point, right? Maybe, I don't know what position you played, but maybe you throw some passes or intercept a ball or maybe make a touchdown, right? But you only have that natural ceiling without training, coaching, accountability, and practice, right? You're only going to get so good. And then what happens is we hit that ceiling, right? And then we're disappointed. We have resignation. We seek greener pastures, meaning that looks better over there. And then that cycle just continues. So we hit that ceiling. You're like on your way to Heisman. Everything's great and wonderful, right? I shouldn't use football analogies. I don't know anything about the sport except that I go Chiefs. All right. So You get to that point, but without the right coach, without the right training, without being purposeful with what you're doing, you're just gonna keep showing up and then not being good enough to get where you need to go, right? So then we do this as humans. I think you can probably all think of a situation where you're like, my natural abilities brought me here. And then all of a sudden I saw this slope or a plateau, right? And then I keep doing it and I keep hitting the ceiling. I'm never gonna get out of this cycle, right? But when you go from being entrepreneurial, doing what just comes naturally, and then becoming purposeful, meaning coaching, accountability, training, learning, you will break through. And it is painful to break through that ceiling of achievement, because guess what? On the other side of that is glory, but there's also a lot of uncertainty. There's also a lot of new problems that you didn't see before, right? You go focus, you focus on models, systems, and you reach for that breakthrough over and over and over, right? So I think about this in my own personal world, my fitness journey. Right? So I could run so far, right? I could maybe run 11-minute mile, nothing to brag about. I know where I'm at. But until I decided to train, until I decided to find somebody who was better at it than I was, and to teach me that there's ways you can breathe. By the way, you don't have to the whole way through a run. Okay. So there's ways you can breathe. There's the right kind of shoes. There's hydration for 24 hours ahead of time. There's all these things that when I got purposeful about it, I then could run an 8-minute mile, which is something to brag about. I can't anymore, but I could back then. Okay. So we don't need to talk about my past. We talk about the glory days. All right. But you see what I'm saying? So what I'm going to tell you guys today is, because you're sitting in this room, you're taking that purposeful approach. So you should be proud of yourselves. All right. The next one's making learning based the foundation of your actions. We can either be ignorance based. I know what I know and I ignore everything else. Ignorance is bliss. With kids, I choose to be that way sometimes, but in real life, I want to know what I don't know. All right. I want to know for knowing's sake. Does anybody like that in here? I just want to know how to do things because I want to know how to do them. I'm a little bit like that for sure. I have no need to know as much about true crime as I know, but I want to know because I want to know. You never know when I'm going to be asked a random question at a trivia and I want to know the answer, right? And then being learning based is I know what I know and there is more to know. This is the focus we want to be on, right? We want to know that we have this ignorance and we want to get past it. I want to know for doing's sake, not just for knowing. I want to know so I can do something with that. I want to learn how to do lead generation so I can go do it, right? Not just so that I know and I can sit in a classroom and spout it off. Productivity outside, enlightenment inside. You're going for higher self-actualization in this, right? Being learning based means you're a forever student. You won't ever walk in this room and say, been there, done that, I already know that. At KW, we teach the same classes over and over and over, and we make adjustments, right? Like Bold just had a complete redo. However, you're in a different place every time you step into that room, right? So Ron, you're here today. I guarantee if you were to come back to Ignite next year, you're a different person. You're going to hear something different. That's what being learning based is, okay? All right. Jackson, will you read this for me?
I'm neither especially clever nor especially gifted. I'm only very, very curious.
Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein. I mean, I think he was extremely gifted, right? I'm not going to compare my insides to his outsides, that's for sure. But what does this mean to you? What does this mean?
It's constantly learning.
He's learning based, right? That's exactly what this is. You're never going to know it all. You get to mastery, sure, on certain topics. After like what, is it 10,000 hours? You become a master at something? Has anybody mastered anything? Spent 10,000 hours very purposeful of doing it? Yeah, I would argue that you have. Tell us a little bit about it.
Educational leadership.
Mhm.
I have a master's degree and a doctorate in educational leadership, but it took going beyond where I was at, even though I was pretty far along in my education career at the time that I started the leadership journey.
Absolutely.
Had a different perspective of leadership before I did that than I did when I finished.
I think the only thing I've got 10,000 hours in is probably being a mom. And I'll brag, I'm pretty darn good at it. My kids like me. They're well adjusted. One's in college. That's great, right? I made it. We've arrived. But yeah, there's a difference, right? From just showing up and then becoming the master at it. There's probably not many people that know more about it than you, right?
Oh,
Because she's learning based, right?
there's always more to learn.
And humble. All right, so the moral of the story is forever be a learner. Be a sponge. I promise you, I learn more from the agents to this day than I think I'm teaching them. Okay, I'm a very learning-based individual. I love learning. I love sitting in the classroom, soaking it all in. And I love taking the same classes or reading the same books and getting something totally different out of it the next time. Right? I'm not saying you got to be a nerd like me, but it works. All right, the fifth one is remove your limiting beliefs. Has anybody heard of limiting beliefs before? Ron, you have? Tell me about limiting beliefs.
It's just a mindset of if you don't think you can do it, you won't do it.
Yeah. If you don't think you can, you won't, right? What is the answer to every unanswered question? No, right? You don't ask, the answer is no. 100% of the shots you don't take, said by Wayne Gretzky, you'd think I'm a way bigger sports enthusiast than I am, you don't make, right? Shoot your shot. This is the business of shoot your shot. Unlimiting your beliefs means you unlimit your thinking. Instead of being like, no, I can't, yes, how? Yes, how, right? If somebody says something to you, try and go, yeah, I can do that. How? How am I gonna do that? Let me figure that one out, right? What are some limiting beliefs that maybe you thought of before you came in here today? And every belief can be limited. So it could just be like it's only the 3rd of January. Do I really have to start today? I'm gonna wait till Monday because I don't like to start on a Wednesday to do my fitness or drink all my water. What do you got, Susan? What's a limiting belief?
I was just thinking of one that I've had to, as 25 has come in, I am letting go of. And that is I've sat through a lot of trainings. I started with Bold, like the second day I was here, Mike Brown put me in Bold. And that was overwhelming because I didn't realize how much was involved. But my thought in those moments of I haven't done anything yet, because for a couple months you're just learning and I haven't done anything yet, was, does this really work? Is it really going to work for me?
Mhm.
Just because it works for this person over here and they're super successful like Adam Grady or
Yeah.
Dan Holt or these other superstars, does that mean that if I follow the same thing that they do, will it work for me or will I just get stuck?
Mhm.
That's a limiting belief that I have decided that I'm abandoning for the new year.
Yeah, you're abandoning it. Get rid of it because why? It doesn't serve you, does it?
No.
And did you try those things and they did work for you?
Yes,
Yeah.
a few.
Oh, right.
Yeah, the big thing is just the lead generation is my big hurdle.
You and everyone else. I mean, you're not alone. Lead generation is like a dirty word for us, but it's literally what we do. It is the foundation of our business. And I think there isn't a one size fits all on lead gen, right? There's best practices, there's things that work. But if you do not like calling on for sale by owners in a TCPA friendly and compliant way, if you don't like doing that and you have this obstacle in your way every time, are you gonna either get over it or you won't? And let's not waste our time there. Let's double down on the activities that give us energy and joy, right? Okay. My favorite one is I don't have enough time. You have time. Have you ever done, I'm gonna go back to fitness because for those of you who don't know, in a past life, I was a CrossFit instructor. And I guess I just really enjoyed punishing people. There was a workout and it was 7 minutes of burpees. Everybody know what a burpee is?
Yes.
Okay, can you imagine doing that for 7 minutes?
No.
Right? That's just like
I'll die right
self-loathing.
away.
Yeah. Oh, and let's go ahead and add a target to jump to every time, right? 7 minutes. Do you know how many burpees I did in 7 minutes? 107 burpees. Okay, I was very, very fit back then. And I still had gas in the tank at the end of that. Not anymore. I could probably do 7 in 7 minutes, 1 a minute. But 7 minutes doesn't seem like a very long time, does it? But when you're in it, it never ends. Okay, so when you tell me I don't have enough time to make a call, send an email, knock on a door, I'm going to remind you of my 100+ burpees in 7 minutes. And I want to see what you can do in 7 minutes. Right? Does that make sense? We always have 30 minutes. How long do you spend scrolling on your social media? I'm looking at you because you don't have social media, but so I know that the answer is gonna be really honest out of you, but how much time do you think you might spend? And you're gonna be wrong, you're gonna underestimate
You
it.
can check it out on your phone. It will tell you.
It'll tell you.
I spent like 5 hours just on
5 hours
Facebook.
on social media. Don't tell me you were doing lead gen that entire 5 hours on social media. No, I can tell you 37 minutes on cat videos. I don't even like cats, but I was watching them, right? Silly, I know, but I'm like, this is my justification. This is how I decompress from a long day of work. My husband's like, what do you even do? I'm like, I talk to people, talk to a lot of people, right? But 37 minutes, that's a long time to be sitting in front of your phone, not talking to anybody, not doing anything of value at all, and just putting junk in my head. Because what you put in comes out, friends. So watch out, because I watch a lot of true crime. So you need me for that, come see me. But other than that, I don't know, I need to probably pick up another real estate book. But I don't want to hear I don't have time, because I should have been. I know I missed my calling on that. I'm a great
Are you gonna help
stalker.
hide the body or find the body?
I don't know. I don't know about that at all. But time is weird. Ron and I have the exact same amount of time in a day. The way we spend our time and the way we allocate our time will define how successful we are in this business, right? We're given the same amount of time as Gary Keller, founder of Keller Williams, Steve Jobs, Elon Musk. You have the same amount of hours and time. They may be more efficient, right? Like Gary Keller wears the same outfit every single day because he doesn't want decision fatigue. He doesn't want to think about what he's going to wear. So he wears a black t-shirt and black jeans. And that's what he wears every day. And he combs his mustache. All right. Super successful guy. I should probably take a page out of that book. I like variety. I like choices. All right. What can you do to eliminate some of that fluffy stuff that just gets the time sucked out of you? Right. Something called time management, which is almost laughable. Nobody can manage time, but you can block it better. Time blocking is a big term we like to throw around here, but until you start doing it, it doesn't make sense. It makes sense in theory, but then when you put it on paper and you actually do it in real life, it gets more difficult because life gets in the way. So what we do is we block for the 20% of activity. We know that the 80% needs to get done. The social media posting needs to get done. The email campaigns need to get done. The smart plans, the ads, the different things, but blocking those most important things and they don't move off your calendar. If they move, they get replaced. They go somewhere else. They get rescheduled. They don't just go away. Okay. So that's a big bugaboo for me is time, because we all have the same amount of time. How are you utilizing it? Because you only get 24 hours in a day. And I'm going to argue you probably need at least 8 to sleep, right? Somewhere between 6 and 8. I don't know what your clock looks like. Are you 5? That's wild. Okay. I'm going to have you to sleep. Okay. Or just to lay in bed and watch cat videos for 37 minutes. All right. And so then the last one is my most favorite word of all time is be accountable. So you've got 2 kinds of people in this world, and I'm going to read these things off to you. You got your victim who's okay with status quo. And then you've got your accountable person who thrives in change, okay? And wants change, because change is good. Change is inevitable. All right. A victim doesn't seek reality. They don't ask questions. They live in ignorance. I don't want to know what's going on in the real world. I live in my little bubble where this is all that matters. And it's a victim mentality. Whereas the accountable person seeks awareness. They seek reality. They want to be truth finders. They want to know how to do things. What's the situation, right? The life happens and the reality shows up here. You fight reality. You're in denial. Well, that's not the way it is. That's not how I see it, right? That's your perception. Guess what? Your perception is your reality. Okay. Whereas on the other side, they're going to acknowledge the reality and seek clarity. This is the way it is. They got it. They want to see what's going on. They want to get in it and understand it for clarity, for doing sake, not just for knowing sake. Victim, they blame, they project. If everybody would just do their job, I could do this. It's not my fault, it's your fault. Oh, I didn't like that. I'm sorry, I'll take that back. Why didn't you change something? Right? That's the victim. They're going to push it off on somebody else, whereas the person owns it. I would say own everything you can own, even when it's not yours to own. Be accountable to it, right? They have energy and they're focused. If it's to be, then it's up to me. I want to be the change that I want to see. This is my responsibility, taking ownership, okay? The victim has personal excuses and they deflect. That's not my job. I wasn't ever given a chance to do that. Nobody told me, right? Does any of this sound like people you know and you're like, oh, yeah, it doesn't work here. That doesn't work for me. I'm not gonna cold call. I hate it. Have you ever done it? No, but I hate it. Okay. Whereas the other person, they're gonna find solutions. What are the possibilities? What are the options? Right? Guess what? People like choices. They like options. What can I do? How can I get what I want? Not what are you gonna do to give me what I want? How can I show up and earn what I want? Right? Then we've got the person that waits and hopes. They live in resignation. It was meant to be, it will happen. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it up to fate. That works for some people, I guess, right? I'm not gonna knock anybody's spiritual backgrounds or anything like that. However, you do have to show up and do the work. Spirituality will only take you so far, and then you gotta do the rest. Okay? It's out of my hands. Time will tell. Nope, that's victim mentality. Gets on with it. Action plan. Let's get started. Time's up. Let's go. This is what we're going to do. Take action, right? You see the two differences? What I want you to do from this point forward is every time you feel yourself going into that victim mentality, stop. Get a pattern interrupt of some sort. Stop and go, what is the polar opposite of what I'm thinking? Be accountable and ownership, right? That is a huge change from the way this industry has been in the past, in my opinion. I think there's been a lot of finger pointing and blaming and, well, that's not how I do it, or you shouldn't do it that way. That won't work for me. You don't understand. I do understand. And most of what stops us is fear, if I'm being honest. And a lot of people don't like to use that word, but there's a fear at some point, right? A fear of not being in control, a fear of not looking good and being right, a fear of what is that person going to do? Are they going to hang up on me? Are they going to be nasty to me? So far, I don't think anybody's died from a forced sale by owner. I said this the other day. We've gotten yelled at, threatened, but never have we died from calling on a forced sale by owner.
I think this has a lot to do with being positive or negative in your life.
Absolutely. It's the mindset, right? So you can choose that negative and see how far that takes you, or you can choose that positive. Actually, there's a quote in here from one of my favorite authors that we'll get to here in a minute, and I'll talk about that in a minute. It's the book called The Happiness Advantage. If you haven't read it, it's a great read. Great read. It's right here. Thought it was a little bit further down. Happiness is not an individual sport. Okay, so he wrote, Sean Aker has written the book Big Potential, which I have not read all the way through, and the book The Happiness Advantage. And it's about, we as humans are primed to see the negative a lot. Like we're looking around the corner to see when the bottom's going to drop off, when the shoe will drop, all of that. And we're actually training ourselves to seek out the negatives out there, where if we were to train our brains to seek for the positives and live in gratitude, we are so much happier, which then makes our work performance better, right? I'm just trying to think. So in the book, there's this study that they took it into a healthcare system. And the hospital was in two wings. And they did this experiment on one side to see the correlation between happy doctors, happy staff, positive environment, and the correlation of their patients becoming well. And wouldn't you believe it? The people who made no changes saw no changes. But the people who showed up for work every day, intentionally, purposefully smiling, starting up conversation, brighter lights, brighter everything, would you believe that those patients got better faster? right? There's a lot of science to happiness. You get to choose happiness, okay? And it is not an individual sport. It takes everybody. Anybody else married to an Eeyore? Just me? Okay, you are too? It's okay. It's okay. It's safe space. Love my husband. He is a saint for putting up with me. I'll tell you that. He is a little more on that pessimistic, rude, melodramatic. He'd kill me for saying these things, but you know, if you're in my class, you know I'm gonna talk about him. But he is definitely more of that Eeyore reserved personality. Guess what? We're a perfect match because I'm like, yes, let's go, let's do it. And he's like, whoa, we need to think about this. Let's not buy another dog. Let's not spend this money. Let's not do that. And then I get to help him bring more joy, I think, to his world. But it's not an individual sport. Neither is this. This is a contact sport. You gotta be in it every single day. Making contacts, being physical, getting up out of your chair, going and doing things. And guess what? It also takes a support system at home. A support system that understands what you're going through and what you're doing and allows you to kind of like just vent at home. But I will tell you, if you're married to a problem solver or dating or whatever, or if you've got a dog, you're probably okay. They're just gonna listen. You do need to, this is your free advice for the day. You do need to say, I'm just venting, or I need you to fix it, right? Anybody who's been in a relationship, you understand that, right? Like you tell me something, I'm trying to fix it, unless you say, I'm just venting. So there's that when you're talking to your support system. All right, so that was a lot in the first hour. Tell me what you've heard so far. This is the ahas.
Mindset is huge.
There's a lot of correlations between when I used to do leadership training in retail, between what you're talking about with like victim mentality and things like that. Like, so what we would look for in people to promote and train and grow versus, well, no one ever asked me. No one ever gave me the opportunity. No one ever did this. And it's like,
I work with some people like that and I think they just don't see over their nose. It's like right there and that's it. So that's why I say the negative part, because sometimes you're like, hey, let's do this. No, it cannot be like that, or we're
That
not
won't work.
doing
That
it,
won't
or
work. I've
yeah,
already tried it. That won't work.
we're wasting our time or whatever. And then you do it and it's like, you see, I didn't waste my time.
In my past job, obviously, I had a lot of those victims, so, and it was.
And real victims,
Yeah, yes,
please, please.
like 5% of the time, but anyway.
yeah.
We won't get into that. It's a private
No,
club,
but-
you guys,
but-
don't worry.
The victim mentality, they're just stuck because we would go to the same house, but they're just stuck in the same thing and they don't blame what they're doing in that particular moment. They'll blame me for showing up and removing somebody from the situation. You know what I mean? So it's like, but then a week later, it's the same thing. You're not doing this for, so I can just see where people just get totally stuck in what they're doing if they're in that mentality.
And we do bring like extreme examples to it, but it's as simple as that won't work for me because I'm not good on the phone and I don't know what to say. So I'm never gonna call an expired listing. And now I'm stuck and I've placed blame in other places and not even tried. So yeah,
Got an employee like that.
that's hard. You coach him up or you coach him out, right? If
Well,
you can. In some settings you can't, but.
yeah, I've been giving him like, little small tasks and things like that, but I keep presenting these great opportunities for him to like make a ton of money. Called him last night and I'm like, hey, I got one of my former clients called me, needs like an emergency siding job. I'm not even gonna collect anything on it, but it's gotta be done tomorrow. Or it's gotta be done in the next like 3 days. He's like, oh, it's gonna be cold, it's gonna be this, it's gonna be that. I don't know. Called my other guy up. I was like, hey, can you do this tomorrow? He's like, yeah. And so my one employee is making a couple bucks today, working on a clean out. And my other one, the other guy's gonna pocket $2,000 in probably 10 hours.
Isn't that crazy?
So,
It's just their mentality.
Yeah, that's hard. That's really hard.
yeah. And he's got a bunch of stuff going on in his life too. And literally, I'm like, here's a great job. Here's a great opportunity. You
They
wanna go
just
see,
don't wanna grow.
you wanna go see your kid and take a week off in Oklahoma and stuff like that? Here, do this job, get a stack of cash and call me in a week. But Yeah,
Anybody who's been in a mentorship, leadership, boss type role, I'm gonna tell you right now, you can want it more than they do. And anybody says you can't want it more than they, yeah, I do. I want it real bad for them. But they gotta take those first steps.
Yeah.
So that's tough.
yeah, that's why I just, and then yeah, and then I tell them afterward, I'm like, hey, here, this is what I just gave somebody else. Oh, okay, well, cool.
Right, and then we can
It's
go
like-
really victim, and you never give me any chances.
Yeah, it's like I give you, you get a chance like a week, every
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
Well,
so,
I get it, but it just speaks volumes, right?
well, it does, and it allows me to look at myself and go, what am I doing to make sure that I am never this person? Hey, I'm gonna give you opportunities, but I'm never gonna be you. So,
Yeah. I get that.
I always say that it's so hard to help someone that doesn't want to help.
Oh, gosh,
How do
yeah.
you help someone that doesn't want to be?
You create boundaries. Very, very strict boundaries where you protect yourself and make their own choices.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. Yes,
I think something that's really not focused on the victim side of the list is the mentality that, well, that person's just lucky. They were just in the right person at
Yeah.
the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
And that just never happens to me. And it's not that that person was in the right place at the right time or that person was lucky. That person placed themselves in a situation where they could profit from what was going on and put themselves, even if it's something like that, making a decision really quickly. I'm going to take the work if it's given to me, or it's, getting yourself in some training in something else or whatever it is, taking advantage of the opportunities that are provided and jumping on it rather than just expecting everything just to be dropped in your lap.
That's why I'm here. I think I told you, I spent like 3 days going out prospecting, touching base with clients and stuff like that, and built a bunch of business. And then realized I'm like, I gotta stop doing this other stuff because it's not growing me.
right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, very short period of time, had an issue, tried to take care of it, realized it was gonna destroy me if I kept going down that path.
Yeah.
So I needed to generate
Stay the path, stay the course. That's huge. There's so many people you don't even realize that they'll look on like social media, right? Because we like to compare ourselves, even though we shouldn't. And this person is doing like closing after closing and deal after deal and this client and that client and they're just, well, it's because they're on that team and they get all the leads handed to them. And I'm like, they're doing the work. Because when the doors are closed and nobody's looking, what are you doing? Are you looking at 37 minutes of cat videos? Or are you doing the work? I really don't look at. Okay, I do look at videos, but maybe not really 37 minutes long. But I also earned that right to do that, okay?
Yeah.
Every now and then it's okay, but do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What Ron said, it sums it all up. Mindset is huge. You don't have a healthy mindset, you're going nowhere. If you're gonna be negative about it and be like, that won't work for me. I've already done that. I've tried that. Eric down the road tried that. It didn't work for him. You shouldn't even waste your time. You're never gonna move forward. Wake up with gratitude. That's huge, right? Every morning, if you look at my calendar, 7 a.m., it says gratitude. That is my daily reminder to start my morning with gratitude. Thank whoever, whatever for whatever I have. Or sometimes I just send a message to somebody that popped in my brain because they're important to me and I want them to know. Hey, thank you. 6 years ago, you did this really random thing. And I know that sounds stalkery and creepy, but it's not. Gratitude goes so far with people. And so you'll hear me talk about that as a lead generation source, showing gratitude to people, catching up with people, care calls with people, because it works and because it fills that interior bucket in you that makes you happy. Unless you're a serial killer, then maybe it doesn't. I don't know. All right, so let's move on to KW culture. All right. When I say KW culture, what do you guys think of? What do you think the culture at KW is? Training, a culture of training, sure.
When one person succeeds, everybody succeeds.
We don't succeed alone. Yes, yes. Helping
each other.
helping all the helpings.
Yeah.
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 Yes, yes. Anything else? Success is simple, it's not easy. That's a theme with us. It's part of our culture too. Everything I'm gonna tell you is simple. There's nothing groundbreaking. There's nothing that's gonna blow your socks right off your feet. It is very basic, very foundational, and it's how you execute it. It is hard. It is hard to pick up that phone and call a stranger. It is hard to pick up that phone and call somebody that you've neglected a relationship with and ask for business. There's nothing easy about that. It's hard to knock on a stranger's door. It's hard to take your first listing or explain your first buyer's agreement. These things are hard, but they're very simple. You just learn it and you execute it. We, as humans, love to overcomplicate everything. This is not complicated, all right? So let's talk culture. Our culture, we've got the MVVVP. This is where we kind of started to sound cultish, but I promise we're not. We have Red Day, KW Cares, KW Kids Can, the DEI, which is Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, and Cultural Ambassadors. This is part of our community, not just local, but globally, right? Let's get into the MVVVP. This is our mission, our vision, our values, our belief, and our perspective. If you don't have your own, use this one because it's pretty dang good, okay? So this is on page 10, I believe. Ron, will you read this for me?
Mission to build careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, and legacies worth leaving.
What does that mean? Because isn't this just a job? You show up, you work, and you get paid. Isn't this what this is? It's more than that.
It's like a lifestyle.
This. A career worth having. Have you ever had a job that paid bills or paid, maybe you were in high school, I don't know, it paid for something. It filled a void, it filled a need, but it wasn't worth anything.
Or you're not happy with it.
You're unhappy with it, right? Or you found a lot of value with it, but you reached a ceiling of potential, or you wanted to change, or you looked for an exit strategy or a 5-year plan or a whatever, right? A business worth owning, that's a big one because you are a business owner. Even if you're on a team, you're still running a business, no? Yeah, you're a business owner. You get to call the shots, you're the boss. A life worth living, that means that I don't want to see you here from 7 to 7. I want to see you build your life by design, not by default, which is what BOLD stands for. And this is the vehicle to get you there. This funds the life. That's all this is. Funds the life and helps you connect with other people. And there's a much bigger picture there. But the life worth living, the experience worth giving, I want to take my kids places. I wanted to be able to pay for my kids to go to college, right? This is the vehicle in which I am in to get me there. And bonus points, I love it. So it's awesome. Legacies worth leaving. Let's think real big picture. What do you want to leave behind? How do you want to be remembered, right? That's your legacy. Like I want to have the best productivity coaching program in all the land with the most experienced, wonderful, thriving agents out there. And I want to be remembered for that, right? I want to be remembered for being a great mom who did awesome things and built gingerbread houses and did fun Nerf wars until they were 16 years old, right? Like these are the things that are important to me. But we need money to do it, no? Yeah. Right? So this is my vehicle to get there. So I want you to start thinking about this. I want you to start waking up every day and going, is this the business worth owning, the career worth having, the life worth living? Am I getting to the point of experiences? Am I getting to the point of building my legacy? You know, and how am I going to fund that? Okay. The belief system, the Y4C2Ts. When I first saw that on somebody's jacket, I was like, what is that? Like a flight code? Like, what is this? It's the Y4C2Ts. All right, Susan, will you read them for me?
Win-win or no deal, integrity to the right thing, customers always come first, commitment in all things, communication, seek first to understand, creativity, ideas before results, teamwork, together everyone achieves more, trust starts with honesty, equity, opportunities for all, success results through people.
Everybody going around the room, and I want you to each say one that really resonates with you. I don't need to know why, I just want to know which ones do. Eric, can I start with you?
Creativity.
Creativity. Ideas before results. Got it. Get there first. Yeah. Ron?
Integrity.
Integrity, yeah, that's a good one. I like that one a lot. It's what are you doing when nobody else is looking, right? Jackson,
Trust.
trust. Trust, that's a good one.
Communication,
Mhm.
because we want to tell rather than listen. And I think that's a really important thing. You can't understand unless you listen.
Seek first to understand. Yeah. We always want to educate. Sometimes we need to validate. Sometimes we just need to listen and see where the path is going. Lead with curiosity, come from contribution. Yeah, communication's huge. Right,
They have all those integrity.
integrity, yeah,
Also communication too.
communication.
Mhm.
Success results through people. You win through people, right? This is an individual sport-ish. It's also a team sport, right? Because it takes you and your team to get wherever you want to go, because you're not going to succeed alone. So you will win through others. You need to find joy through other people's wins. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's talk about some of these other things. Red Day stands for Renew, Energize, and Donate. The entire company, all on the same day in May. That's the second Thursday. So I never remember what actual numerical day it is, but the second Thursday, everything shuts down. Our entire office shuts down. And every single agent is invited to come participate in a give back day to the community. We've done Sleep in Heavenly Peace, where we built bunk beds for people, kids, not just for people. We've gone to there was a ranch, the Dogwood Ranch, and like cleaned the stables and bushwhacked and did all the things. We've built houses. We've done Habitat for Humanity. We have done so many different things. We've partnered with Isabel's house. We've partnered with a really good one that we went to last year, and I can't think of the name of it, but we go back and we donate our time and money and resources and paint buildings and go do things that help better serve the community, right? That's pretty cool. I don't know any other major companies that their whole business shuts down for a day. Now you'll see big teams kind of come in groups, right? So it's all day long and we feed you breakfast and lunch. So you got these big teams that'll come in and half their staff will come in the morning and then they'll go back to work and the other half of the staff will come in and they're building desks and vacuuming things and painting walls and laying carpet and all these different kinds of things. It's a very fun day. So when Red Day comes around in May, I hope to see you all there because it's an amazing, amazing event. Second Thursday. So time block your calendar for the most important things and put it on your calendar now. Okay? Like right now. Second Thursday in May, Red Day.
The 8th?
Sure. Put it on your calendar. I'm gonna hold you accountable to it. Now, since it's on your calendar, you can't say, I didn't know.
I forgot.
Well, now you may
Thank you.
forget, but let me tell you, I live and breathe by my calendar. My kids check my calendar before they call me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I won't answer the phone when I'm with somebody. Now, if my son calls 3 times, I do know to answer that. And it's usually something like, do you know where the remote is? It's an emergency. We also have what's called KW Cares. And what KW Cares is, it's, you can donate part of your paycheck to go to KW International, KWRI, and they give back to the community. Like if somebody needs, you know, their house burnt down in a fire and it was a KW associate or vendor or something, KW Cares will send money their way to help, right? Like natural disasters, things like that. We locally, our ALC, our Agent Leadership Council, who makes big decisions for us, they do Springfield Cares. Same concept, except it stays local. So any money that you put aside for that or donate to that goes to people like the family that their youngest child went through cancer this year. And they had to be up in Memphis at the St. Jude's up in the city, Memphis. Oh, I can't even remember. And we gave them money to help them during that time because they had extra travel. They had 2 other kids that they had to mind for. We have done multiple things like that. So when you see somebody who's in a real struggle, somebody who lost their house in a house fire, a tornado came and ripped it out, like whatever that looks like, presented, and ALC will vote on it. If there's money in there, they'll happily donate it, right? So that's what the culture at KW mainly is about. We'll go back on, let's see, we're still good on time. Well, let's talk about the KW value and the Market Center value. So these awards are actually pretty old. We were the top franchise for veterans in 21, top female-friendly company over and over, top 500 franchises for 22, best employer for 21, best customer experience in 22. Is that not something that could go in your presentation? Our company at a global level in 2020, I almost said 1922, oh my gosh. 2022 was America's best customer experience. When you don't have your own accolades, rely on KW's, you're under the umbrella, right? America's best employer for women and new grads, best employer for diversity in 2021. There's other ones that aren't even on here, like 2 years ago, one in every 4 homes in this area was sold by a Keller Williams agent. How about that? How about that market share, right? We're not accounting for some of those other off-market deals and things like that as well, but 1 in every 4, you may not use us, but you can't get away from us. You're gonna see us. All right, training and coaching. I don't really have to spend much time on this because you're all here, right? Our training and coaching is unrivaled in my opinion, right? We've got virtual training in your KW Command on Connect. So if you haven't gotten in there, I 100% say get in there, because every question you have, there's a great video with somebody way smarter than this girl teaching about it. All right. So utilize that. Connect and Connect Live. There's on-demand training. So if you're up at 4 o'clock in the morning, you don't want to look at 37 minutes of cat videos, go find something else to watch, right? We have tons of local and regional trainings, huge events like Family Reunion, which is coming up next month. 25,000 agents from all over the United States and some other countries as well come in and celebrate and learn as Gary Keller is on stage with some of the brightest in the industry. Top class economists, people who write books, Ed Milet, Mel Robbins, Tony Robbins. These are some of the speakers we have. It is a very expensive investment, but well worth it. If it's your first year, maybe you wait and see what everybody else kind of comes back and learns. This year it's in Vegas. I used to think it was cheap to get to Vegas. It is not. Water is very expensive there. But there's only a handful of cities that will take us because we are a huge, big thing. You will hear more and more about this. Keller Williams University puts on this class, Ignite, which I am teaching you right now. KWU has all those command trainings, and then the MAPS program, which is Mega Agent Production, does BOLD, which is Business Objection Life by Design, which Susan, you're the only one in the room that has taken BOLD. I've taken BOLD 4 times. And for those 4 times, the content hadn't changed that much. This year's BOLD is completely rewritten. Everything is different, and I cannot wait. We bring BOLD in every year. The investment is $800. If this is your first BOLD, you can get scholarships regardless. We always do giveaways and give away free BOLDs all the time, but you can do where you earn, you can prepay it, you can pay it off of your closings. There's payment plans. And then there's also scholarships to where if you do a certain amount of business or deals, you can earn half of that back. So we make it really attainable to get to BOLD. That's a value proposition of this market center. Our technology. Who feels like they're really good at Command? Go to a class, please. Okay, Command is awesome. It's an amazing CRM system. It's your database. It is the heartbeat of your business. And it is full of the technology needed to where you can be face-to-face with people and communicating with them all while not lifting a finger, right? Like, why wouldn't we leverage that? We need to be in relationship with people. We need to be actually contacting people upward of 50 times a year. They need to hear from us 50 times a year, but they don't always have to be voice to voice or face to face. I can't always think of 50 things to say to somebody throughout a 12-month span, but that's what the technology is for. That's a leverage piece. All right. It's going to help you grow your business. There are things in Command that are built-in trackers, so you can actually watch your production. You can see your whole pipeline. You can see, you can put your goals in there and all your activities, and there's no hiding from it because the data doesn't lie. Now, does it take an extra step to input? Yeah, but let's figure out how to make that part of your system. right? The system is I do it the same way every time and I'm gonna get that result, okay? The command app. On this command app, you can follow and see how much of the cap you've paid into. You can do it on the go. So if I have my command app, I can make my calls from my database right off my phone and then it gets logged right in there. Pretty user-friendly too. So if you don't have it, I would 100% tell you download the KW Command app. There's also a consumer app. Did you guys know that you have a consumer app? Some of you did, some of you don't. I need you to go talk to Nicole and make sure you know how to get, or Scott Leroy Marketing, even better. You email Scott Leroy Marketing and say, tell me about my app. You have an app, so you don't ever have to say, look on realtor.com, look on Zillow, wait for me to send you something. Give them the power, give them your app. And then guess what? It's got Susan's information on it. Well, then Ron will have his and Eric has his, but on Susan's, if you have me as a client and I'm liking properties, it goes right into your command and you can see what I've been liking. So it's not gonna go to another agent. Has anybody ever used Zillow before? And you go to contact the agent and you're not even contacting the agent, you're just contacting somebody who pays Zillow, right? That's happened to many of my clients. They're like, well, I went to contact you. I found this listing. I'm like, what? In what world do you think that that connected me to you? I'm like, you have my phone number. Call me. We live next door. Call me. Knock on my door, right? But use the consumer app. It protects you, protects your clients from being sold off to somebody else. And it all comes right back to you. So use the consumer app. It's fantastic. Honestly, when you're at an open house, which we'll talk more about open houses later, but when you're in an open house, give them your app. Say, hey, let me give you, how'd you find this? Oh, don't use that site. Try this one. Your information's safe. It doesn't get sold, right? All right, let's talk passive income for a second. Everybody know about profit share? What do you know about profit share? Besides what I told you the other day.
Pretty much what you told me the other day.
All right, well, let's go ahead and feed it back. Let's see what you heard.
So if we take the time to introduce people to KW, we can, they can select a person, and as I understand it, they get a small percentage of whatever we sell commission wise, but it doesn't come out of our commission split. It comes out of the company's commission split. And I believe you get to continue to receive that as long as they're an agent with KW, even if you retire or leave or something like that.
Yeah, after a certain
Is it
amount of
the
time, you're
sponsor?
vested.
The sponsor?
The sponsor.
Yeah, your sponsor.
Yeah.
Mhm. So pretty spot on, by the way. And he just learned this a couple days ago. So well done. Somebody must have taught him really well. Now, the way it works is this company's a business, no?
Mhm.
We have lights, we have salaries, we have expenses. If Ray breaks the chair, I have to go buy a new chair, right? Landon, the money guy, if you remember me talking about him earlier, protects the profit. So he makes sure that we prepay bills when we're having really great months. He makes sure that we're always profitable and we don't have these unforeseen expenses. He plans for it, right? I wouldn't want anybody else in the role. He's fantastic. So if I'm just this person who's over at XYZ brokerage, I'm not doing much, or maybe I'm doing great, I don't know. And Ray, my friend here, says, listen, KW changed my life. It got me into production. It got me doing XYZ. I love where we're at, yada, yada, yada. You should come over and be a part of this. And I go, yeah, okay, I will. And then I come in, and it was that easy, I promise. I come in and I start producing. So I'm paying into my split. I'm paying into my company dollar, okay? At the end of the month, Landon has reconciled all the bills. He's paid all the bills. And what is left over in any good business?
Profit.
Profit, right? The profit is split between the small investor pool of people who invested in this business and in this company and the agents who grew KW. Because without growth, we are stagnant and we decay and we die, right? So I am producing. Now Ray gets a taste of that off of the 50% that gets split out with all the agents that were sponsors to the agents. And it's a whole tree. It's a whole math equation of you make this percent on the first person and this percent on this person, da, 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 da. The point is there's no financial risk. There's no legal risk. You don't have to pay anything. There's no down payment. No phone calls, right? I'm not saying get out there, Eric, and recruit everybody. What I'm saying is if you feel passionate enough about this place making a difference for you, go help somebody else make a difference. If you see an agent that's really struggling at a different brokerage, tell them, invite them to a class, bring them over. Hook us up. Give me somebody to talk to, right? See if they're a good fit. If you know somebody who's looking to get licensed, guess what? We run a licensing program here. It's called K-Score. I'm the person. Come talk to me. The reason we want you to do this is so that you can get passive income. Ron, what's passive income?
Money that comes in without you really doing much.
That's what passive income is, 100%. You didn't have to do anything and the money happens. Being a sponsor doesn't mean that I get to go to Ray with every question and problem. You're not training me. That's our job. We're gonna take over all the heavy lifting for you. We're just asking you to make that connection, right? And we're not asking you to make that connection to make our jobs easier. What we're doing is saying, let's make that connection to make your life easier. To have that career worth owning, that business worth having, life worth living, right? Who wouldn't love to not have to work every day to make the money, right? Like go show the house, go negotiate the contract, go. We want you to build out a business that just feeds itself. We want you to get into investing if that's up your alley, right? Investing in real estate, which why would we invest in anything else? This is what we know. I'm not going to invest in stocks. I don't know anything about stocks. I'm going to invest in real estate, right? Because that's my whole livelihood. And I 100% wholeheartedly believe that wealth is gained through the acquisition of real estate. So I want everybody to do it so that you can then have more money coming in at you, right? All make sense? We do teach a lot of classes on the profit share and how to do it. Stay tuned. There's good ways to do it. But really what it is sharing the word. Okay. Any ahas on these sections? This is where it kind of starts going a little bit quicker. No. Okay, resources. All right, so this was written and updated over and over and over again. However, I'm pretty sure they've gotten away from several of these. But KW at one point got really heavy into ancillary services. So they had like KW mortgage, KW covered insurance, something about iBuyer offers, property management. What I want you to think about this is, who are your resources, right? So does everybody know what Angie's List is? It's that place that you go, it's a googly type thing. It's a place you go and you go find the nanny, you go find the housekeeper, you go find the electrician. They pay to be a part of that service or whatever. If realtors were doing their jobs really, really well, Angie's List never would have taken off. You need to know the guy or the gal, the person, the business. Every single one of you needs to build what I like to call the allied resources, right? So when you're struggling, especially in the beginning of like, who do I call? What do I say? I don't even know, but I want to feel like I'm moving my business forward. Call lenders, call title companies, call electricians, handymen, inspectors. Who else makes this business go around? Cleaning people, insurance company. You need to have like 3 of each. Now, why would I say you need 3 of each if you've got one guy that's really good?
Because they're busy.
They're busy. They may not pick up their phone. They may be on vacation. They may not be a good fit for somebody, right?
Gives the client, like they're making the decision kind of, if you show them.
Also removes liability from you, right? Okay, so I don't really feel like all good deeds, or not, what is that? The good deeds go punished. What is that saying?
Good deeds
Unpunished.
unpunished, or
Or something.
No good deed goes unpunished.
That's it. No good deed goes unpunished. I'm not saying that I'd say that because clearly I can't. But what I am saying is no matter how hard you try with somebody and you do all the right things, sometimes it doesn't work out and it still comes back and you're the bad guy because you're the real estate agent. Okay. If I say, Ron, you got to use my electrician so company, they're the very, very best, and you don't have a great experience with them, then all of a sudden I'm the bad guy because I did the referral. I recommended them. So what I like to say is, hey, I've got some really great business partners. Their job is to earn your business just like me. So I'm going to give you this list. I've obviously categorized it from my favorite to my third favorite. I want you to choose whoever you want to choose. And if you have any problems, I want to know immediately. Now I've protected myself from liability, right? And I usually like to send it in some kind of print format so that I've got digital proof of it too.
Do you have a list?
Do I hand out a list?
Do you have a list that you can share
So
with me since I'm new?
how many times do you get to be new in this business?
Right.
One time.
You get to be new in this business one time.
Yeah.
I want you to go make your own list.
Well, I have most of the people, I just don't know few like inspectors and stuff, you know.
Yep. So what I'll do is, yes, I will give you a list, but I want you to call them. And guess what? They need you to run their business. So they'll take you to lunch, they'll take you to coffee. They'll want to pay for your open house flyers. The minute they know about you, they need you.
They also sponsor a lot of events and trainings, and so they come up and do a little blurb at the beginning, and you can just connect with them afterwards. Team meetings, there's always a group of.
Always at the
vendors in
team, the sales meetings that are, they just changed the time, Tuesday at noon. Thank you. I'm like, I can't even think, I don't even know what time it is right now. But Tuesdays at noons is our sales meeting at noons. Okay, this is the day we're gonna have. It's Friday, right? It feels like a very Monday. Sales meetings, they start next week. Yeah, all the vendors are there. And I'll do you another one. We have a affiliated referral form in the DocuSign that has a list of vendors. And then for your protection, get an inspection, there's also a list of inspection providers. So like if you're looking for a septic person or whatever, and we'll get into those things as the transactions go. But yes, I can absolutely give you one, but I do want you to be new and say, hey, I'm new, I'm growing my business. You're a lender, tell me everything I need to know about your company. What do you do? How about this? Anybody know a business owner in their sphere of influence, the people they surround themselves with? Susan, who are you thinking of right now? What do they do?
All-American Rental.
Can we find a correlation between that and real estate? Absolutely, right? And secondly, they run a business. You run a business. Do we not run businesses the same way? Lead generation, lead follow-up, lead follow-through. Hey, tell me about this business. How'd you launch it? How do you find clients? What kind of marketing do you do? Let me pick your brain. Guess what? People love to talk about themselves. They do. Have you ever been in a conversation where you didn't say a word and they went, oh, that's the best conversation I've ever had? Yeah, it happens. My favorite recruiting appointments when I go on looking for people who I'd like to help get over into real estate, especially the new people who are like, you know, I think I want to get into real estate. I'm not sure. I want to hear all about them. Because secretly I'm going, okay, where are the holes? Like, where can I help them plug those gaps, right? I'm there to help. I'm not saying much. And they are talking up a storm and they leave going, she is such a great conversationalist. Yeah, because I didn't say anything, right? So when we talk about these resources, you got to have your resources. You got to have all of those things, right? I want you to think about that when you go home this weekend. And actually, everybody got a pen? Write this down. I want you to come back on Monday with 3 banking lenders. Yep, you're good. Do you need a pen?
Yeah, there's one here.
Okay. I'm sure I got one.
There
So
was one here.
3 lenders, 3 different title companies. There's one right there on the left. You get a freebie. 3 title companies, 3 insurance agents, 3 plumbers and 3 electricians. Let's start there. I want you to come back with names and phone numbers for those people.
You say 3
Insurance.
plumbers and 3
Lenders, title company, insurance, electricians, plumbers.
Surveyors
Like
too.
for insurance, you mean like,
Like a insurance, like a home insurer,
okay.
right? Like could be your insurance provider, like
Mhm.
State Farm is who I use. I also use Comparion Insurance. So I have different properties. I use different insurance companies for them.
Something that I didn't realize until somebody told me was that when you do an open house, a lender will help sponsor the open house and they'll bring treats. They'll even print your flyers for you, which was really amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll use New American Funding for an example, because I've spent a lot of time with Eric Edwards and Chad Noble. They will do all kinds of print marketing for you. They'll do mailers. They'll do your open house flyers. They'll do everything.
They'll post to social media.
Yeah, they'll post to social media. You want these people as partners because their reach is bigger than yours and they need you too. The other side of this is UMortgage is another huge vendor that we utilize a lot. When we cover open houses, we're taking a field trip that day. And they are sponsoring an open house and we're gonna go to that open house. It's gonna be awesome.
I just texted Andy this
Andy,
morning,
Yep.
Andy Hefner.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
How do we connect to these people? Like,
we look for them and just call them and say, hi, I'm a new agent and.
Let's role play it. Let's role play it. Ray,
Okay.
you wanna play?
Sure,
You wanna be the agent or you wanna be the vendor?
you pick.
Okay, you be the vendor.
Okay.
Okay, ring, ring, ring.
Hi, how are you? This is-
Hi, hi, how are you?
What is-
Answer the phone the right way like a human. Hi, this is Ray.
I am a robot.
Hi, this is Ray with Phoenix Revive.
Hi, Ray. This is Shanna. I am with Keller Williams. I know you don't know who I am, but I've heard wonderful things about you and your business.
Congratulations on being a new agent. What can I do for you?
Absolutely. So what I'd love to do is if you're open to it, I'd love to take you out to coffee and learn all about your business and how I could partner with you to give my clients great customer service, because that's what I've heard about you.
Awesome. When are you available? You want
Yep.
to meet an architect?
Yes, that's where I always go for coffee as architect. It's the
That's
KW
great.
coffee place. Yeah, it's just that simple. Architect.
So you just mentioned you're new and you're just.
Yeah, I'm a new agent and I heard that I should reach out to you. And if it's true, like I've heard really great things about you, which hopefully you're not just picking somebody random. Maybe you've heard something good. Maybe even post in our internal page and say, hey, I'm looking for who are your best whatever, you know?
I've seen those posts, like,
Uh-huh.
what plumber do you
What-
recommend? or
Yeah, and then
something
boom,
like
boom, boom. I mean, they give you nobody's hiding these people,
that. Mhm.
right? Check our vendor, come to our sales meeting because they're there, you know? But it's as simple as that, or meet somebody after one of the sales meetings and say, I'd really like to get together with you and learn more. I'm a newer agent, and they will be all over it, right? Hey, I heard about you. Your reputation speaks volumes. I run a very tight, customer-friendly business, and I hear you do too, and I think we might have something in common. I'd like to talk to you. It's as simple as that. Okay,
That's why I'm here,
that's why you're here. What do you mean?
Erica.
Yeah,
We met each other through other stuff and
exactly.
I do business with her and she essentially recruited me here.
Yeah, and was like, hey, I think
Yeah.
this is gonna be a good fit for you, right? Very Cool. Communities. What?
No, sorry, it's just my
Oh.
throat.
Keep that frog in there. All right, so KW Communities. This is also something on a global level. KW, we have KW Military, KW Luxury, KW Commercial, KW Land, New Home, DEI, Sports and Entertainment. We actually, one of the guys who is in our PC program, the basketball coach, just joined the sports and entertainment community. There are additional fees, I do believe, associated with some of these communities. However, you get loads of content, loads of resources and referrals from being parts of these communities. And then you get to kind of put that next to your name, right? Like realtor with whatever. And there's a lot of learning to be had. So if these communities speak to you, you should do some checking, do a little research and see what you think. I mean, there was even, I don't think it's on here, but it was KW Wellness. And it was all about, yoga and eating right and drinking water and exercising and doing all that really good stuff for you. Get involved. All right, we're skipping through. Is that okay? All right. So I believe we're in the participant guide. Somebody help me find where we are. 115. 115. All right, everybody. On page 15, today is what date? January 3rd? Yeah. I would like you to put January 3rd, 2026. Don't worry, I'm back out of the 19s again.
I have a quick question. I know I've kind of been hanging out in the middle of nowhere because I'm
We're in 2025. This is 1 year from now. Yep, I'm listening.
so I'll be only able to come in possibly on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we'll try to attend as much as possible. Are there any days that you think would be pertinent for me to absolutely come in other than maybe specifically those 2 days of the week? I'm at home with my toddlers, so that's why I'm not attending today.
Oh, for this, how
Or
about,
basically just for Ignite in general, I see that,
Yeah.
you've got some worksheets and stuff, and I'm sure I can pick them up on Tuesday when I'm able to come in, but
absolutely, yeah. What I'll do is I'll kind of go through and I'll email you. This is Erica, right?
yeah, that's right.
Okay, just making sure I heard that right. I'll email you because I do think that like the open house day, when we do that one, it's going to be a field trip, which I'm gonna get all that information out to you down here in the Springfield area. So that would be a really good one to be in person. Let me go back through them and I'll tell you which ones I think you'll get more from being in-house than online, okay?
Okay, that sounds good because I'll try and schedule around that, but I just know I have those 2 days available every week and was when you mentioned the open, house, I thought that was a good opportunity to ask that question.
Gotcha. Yep. No, perfect. And at any point, anybody who's online, just jump in. I am not great about checking the chat. That's why I rely on this group that's standing in front of me. All right. So your vision, your future. So today is 1 year from now, January 3rd, 2026. I can't even get used to saying 25 yet. So that was really hard to come out of my mouth. Let's look at what's happened over the last 12 months. Right? This is a little bit of projection, right? We're going to project the positive future out there. Ray, why don't you read the first bullet point?
Your business is thriving and your life is everything you've dreamed of.
If that is a statement that you wrote down and in 1 year from now, you were reading that back to yourself and it was true, how do you feel?
Good.
Real good, right? Real good.
Proud of yourself.
Okay. Ron, second one?
Your customers rave about the experience and value you provide and think of you when they have a real estate need.
How's that one feel? Pretty good.
I'm proud of that.
You're proud of that? All right, Eric, next one.
Your family and friends are so proud of your success and are consistently referring business your way.
What's that do for you?
Great.
Feels
Oh,
great.
yeah.
Yeah. Camila,
You're helping others live their dream of owning a home because you are focused on helping them to get what they desire.
how interesting, succeed through others, right? Okay. Jackson,
You're building the foundation and momentum for your entire career and gaining relationships and experiences and the income you desire.
think about that, the income you desire, not the income you got, because that's what the job told you you were gonna get. You earned it, you desired it, you put a plan in action and you earned it. How's that feel? Yeah, Susan,
You're a top agent in your market center or rookie of the year if you're new.
what's that look like?
Feels good.
Feels real good. Natalia,
You're opposed to hire a part-time assistant to handle your 80% while you take care of 20% that grows your business. That's awesome.
that's super awesome, right? She's like, yup. I've had the opportunity to help people who have sat in these seats hire on their first administrative assistants. And it's so cool to watch, right? Like, wow, you got so busy, so successful that you needed help. Fantastic. My work here is done, right? It's good stuff. All right, so you're on the path to what? Okay, you're on the path to what? I want you to take 2 minutes and just jot down what the rest of this looks like. I'll even set a timer. I'd like to hear if you're open. I will never make anybody do something that they absolutely can't do. But I'd love to hear what some of you guys have to say. I won't even look around the room to make you feel obligated to say anything.
pay off your, like, I dream to pay off my house
Mm.
and become an investor. That's,
That. Like, what would you do with all that equity?
invest
Yeah.
in real estate.
Smartest move, right?
Yeah.
Love that. Very cool.
I made a deal with my daughter. Remember that the house that Mike gave us at one of the sales meetings? So one more house.
Mm-hmm.
So I had her color it in. And I told her the fourth house that I would go under contract or get through, that money goes to her. So-
Oh, I love that.
So I have
She
to,
must
I have to
really
get
love
like,
that.
I have to get 3 first and then.
We'll get 3 big ones and then we'll get a little one.
Oh.
JK. That's cool, that's cool. Anybody else?
It'll be opposite.
Oh,
I got
man.
jokes, I got
I
jokes
hope
all day,
not.
guys. When I see blank stares, I have to
2
make a joke.
million.
It'll be a
Yeah.
big one.
Oh, that would be.
She's gonna make you do aerials. Anybody else wanna share? Something they wrote down?
I just said you're on the path to keep building, keep going.
I
That's neat.
said it in the chat, but I've realized that I didn't know how many people could see it. I am planning on buying my first home at some point and hopefully you'll get there. Funny story, Ray in the front row was my landlord. We didn't even know that we joined Keller Williams
I was like,
separately.
Did you switch
So,
to Keller Williams? I was like,
yeah, I saw him, I texted him earlier.
It's a small world.
Name.
And you guys knew each other too.
Yeah.
We went to real estate
Real
school
estate
together.
school. It was
Love
a
that.
Katie's class.
How fun. I love that. I love to go buy your first house. Your path in home ownership. It's your right. Yeah, so cool, so cool. How does positive projecting help you grow your business today? You set a goal,
It gives you a goal that is personal to you.
something that means something to you. So kind of like what gets you out of bed in the morning when you don't want to get out of bed?
My kid.
Yeah, your kid. Just throw some Cheerios in there, it'd be totally fine. Which, by the way, I just recently heard you shouldn't do that. My kids were fine though. Remember I said I was a good mom.
Perception, right?
It's my perception. My reality is I'm a good mom. All right, so let's talk about your big life, right? Why do we call it a big life? Why's it a big life? It's yours, right?
Yes.
It's your life. Better be big. Who wants to live a small life, right? I want you guys to think way beyond a year. And I will tell you this, when we talk about like your 5-year plan, whatever you think you can do in 5 years, I guarantee you can probably do it in 3. And whatever you think you can do in 1, it's probably gonna take longer. We underestimate what can be done in 5 and grossly overestimate what can be done in 1. All right, so just remember that. But I want you to think really big and obnoxious today. What are you doing for the people you care about? This is on 16. It's blank. What charities would you support? If money was not an issue, you had all of it to give and to do, what are you doing? How are you making others around you better? Right? Or how are you making your own family better? Some people believe charity starts at home, right? What are you doing? I want you to take a few minutes and go to the boxes and fill in the people and projects you care most about. Add more boxes if you need it, and an amount you'd like to spend on that. So an example is I want to pay for my kids' college tuition. Or Natalia's gonna pay off her house. So she'd put house and whatever that balance is. If it's tuition, I'm probably gonna need to put $100,000 down. Because tuition's very expensive, is it not? And I don't have a college job that I can make my kids go for cheaper for free. So they either have to work hard for a scholarship or I gotta pay for it. Maybe you want to donate to a rugby field because you play rugby and you love the sport. That's what it is. And then what I want you to do is take all those totals and put that number in the middle. And I don't care if it's $1 billion. I need you to think obnoxiously big. All right, I'm gonna give you a couple more minutes than I did on that last one. Like 3.
You said 5 years, like the next 5 years, or just?
Just indefinitely.
Okay.
think obnoxiously big. And I don't want you to think, oh, I'm gonna put $120,000, because that's what I owe on my house, and I can't afford that. I don't want that, let go of that. Put the numbers down. If it's, I wanna give back to the church and I wanna tithe, maybe $10,000 a year. Whatever it is, just write it down. And then add them all up and put them in the middle. All right, anybody, is everybody done or are we still working? I'll give you time.
Have two.
Two more, okay. If Susan's got two more, you don't get any more than two, that's it. Has anybody got their middle number?
About 1.5 million.
I love it, I love it. 1.5 million gives you legacy, huh?
It would, yeah.
Okay,
Is this, I would have a question. I
yeah.
would probably miss this. Is this per year? Living your big life, this is how much you for per year or?
You know, it's 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 1 year from now, like what, you know what I mean? Like, I just want you to think, there's no parameters on what that is. And maybe it is per year. I mean, I'm not paying off my kids' college every year. But like at the end of the time frame here, this is what I would like to, if it's a reoccurring subscription based something, or if it is something like tithing to the church that I'm gonna do year over year, or maybe that one big expense like paying off the house or paying the college tuition. It's kind of like all encompassing. There's no like definite. 1.5.
Yeah, it's over 5 years.
That's
That's what I
cool.
did.
I mean, he went a step further and gave it a timeline. I love that. Who else has got a number? Maybe a bigger number, maybe a smaller number.
2 million.
2 million. Okay. What's yours?
That was about 2.2.
2.2?
Yeah.
2.2 million.
I
Julie?
only there for like a year, so
Okay.
674,000.
674. Okay. That's a lot of money, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For a year.
Sure. This is your legacy. This is what you leave behind, right? This is how you're impacting others. And the coolest part about it is whatever value you put on that, you can achieve in this industry. It's gonna take discipline. It's gonna take hard work, education, training, and time. And it will not happen overnight. I can nearly guarantee that it will not happen overnight. This is a pipeline business. We don't just show up and in 2 weeks we get our vacation days and our benefit package and our 401k, and our 8 to 5, whatever, in our first paycheck. That's not how this works. You earn it. You earn it every single day. It's 90 days. So typically, whatever I do today will show up 60 to 90 days from today. So if I took a vacation for a month, do we think my pipeline will struggle in 60 to 90 days? If I didn't do any work while I was gone? Yeah, I may had enough to push me over, but I will get to a dry spell. So when you come to my office and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm swimming in business. I don't even know, it just happened. I'm so lucky. I'm gonna say, that's so cool. What were you doing 90 days ago? Oh, that's right. You were in Ignite. And then you were doing all the work and you were doing all the activities and you were doing all the things. So you should maybe do those again because it works, right? That last goal, or not goal, that last thing we talked about in this thing have something in common. The mindset of caring and contribution. It's about other people, right? Most of you, what you were proud of had something to do with somebody else, right? You weren't like, well, I mean, except for winning the, Susan got to read off that she won the Rookie of the Year award, which was kind of like super cool and awesome, but she didn't get there by just being a lone wolf out there doing her own thing. Took the support of many, and it was all about helping other people, right? So when you adopt this mindset of gratitude and this mindset of caring about others, you will get 10 times further in this world. Okay? So back to Ron's point, mindset's everything. Right? It's no different than you go on a fitness journey. And I always go back to that because I think so many people can understand that. Diet is only a certain part of it. Showing up to the gym is only a certain part of it. But it's the mindset that keeps pushing you through that's going to get you there, right? Good stuff. All right. Oh no. To achieve success, you need motivation and inspiration for doing it. That is what we call the big why. So if you've been at KW for even 5 seconds, I'm sure you've heard of the big why. It's big because it's a big life. It's a big why. Sometimes your big why is something small and it grows to be something bigger. Sometimes your big why is, I want to take my grandkids to Disney 17 times a year. And if that's the big why, it's going to happen, right? There's no room for it not to happen. It's going to happen. And you know how I know it's going to happen is because he's so committed to that promise that he's making himself that he's going to show up every day and do the work, even when it stinks and even when it's hard. And even when he's near death and people are slamming doors in his face.
That actually happened.
No, don't say that. No, it didn't. It didn't happen. All right. So since we're talking about big whys and things like that and your money, let's talk about where your money goes, just so you know. The first chunk of your money goes, if you're a listing agent, typically, now I realize all commissions are negotiable, and I realize that you do not have to share your commission with the other side. However, it's a really great practice because it's part of your marketing. If you're trying to sell a house, who are you marketing to? Other agents. You're looking for the what? The buyer? And do you have the buyer? Maybe not, but he may have the buyer. So you got to market to him. What a great way to incentivize somebody to purchase the house that you're trying to sell by offering their compensation. You don't have to do it because this is your business and all commissions are negotiable. However, this is a good way to do it. All right. Then 30%, we're on a 70-30 split, right? 30% goes to the market center until you cap. And then once you cap, you get to keep 100%, which is awesome. 100% of the half. Next chunk goes to your business expenses. Whoa. Let's keep those low, right? We don't need all this space. We don't need all of those things. What are the most important things? Try not to spend, especially in the beginning. And I know it takes money to make money. However, let's try to go about it the smart way. We're not going to go buy leads. We're going to go create leads off of the sphere of influence and the allied resources and the referrals and the hard work, the door knocks, the for sale by owners, the canceled expired listings, all of those sources that are free to use. Go do the work, right? Keep your expenses low. We'll talk more about that later. Taxes. Go see my girl Natalia. She'll help you out with those. Right? Little side hustle. And then this little chunk is what you get to take home. So for anybody who got into this business, because they make all the money and they drive this fancy sports car and they wear the nice shoes and this and that, they must be doing a lot of work, right? Who has been on the buyer or seller side of a transaction? Raise them tall. The first time you worked with an agent, did you think, oh, they sure don't do a lot for a lot of money? Right? That was your perception. And it doesn't mean that agent was good or bad, but that was your perception. How do we change their perception? We show up, we add a load of value, we surprise and delight, and we consistently tell them what we are doing, because silence to them means we're not doing anything, right? It is hard work. It is a tough job. And it's sometimes thankless. And they think, well, you just get to make all this money. And I'm like, look at this whole dollar. I only get this little corner on the end. That's legitimate, friends, right? Average agents make less than $40,000 a year. Think about that for a second. What we see on HGTV is the perception of the general public, and that is so far from the truth. Also, have you ever tried to DIY a project? It never goes that well. And it's never that fast, okay? My goodness. This next one is an income goal, but we're gonna spend some time later in this series talking about what we call the economic model and going into figuring out exactly how much you need to make. Now, every time I ask an agent, well, what are your goals? What do you want to do? Guess what number they throw at me for their income goal? $100,000, almost every single time. And it doesn't even matter what state you're in. They say it in Florida, they say it in Hawaii, $100,000. I go, $100,000 in Hawaii? Do you know the average home sale in Hawaii is $1.1 million? Is it enough? Now, maybe in our area, right? You could probably live comfortably between $70,000 and $80,000 a year in our area by yourself and your cat, right? Probably not with your kid. They're expensive.
Poor kids.
That's why you have a second job. No, right? But they always say, I want to make $100,000. And that's my first question. Is that enough, Jackson? Is that going to get you that legacy?
No.
Probably not. So I need you to really actually think before we do these exercises of what you really want to make. So here's homework assignment number 2. Figure out what your 4 walls living expenses are. What is a 4 walls living expense? That means how much does it cost for you to live in your property and buy your food and have your utilities and your bills. I don't need to know that number, but you do.
What is it again? Sorry.
Your 4 walls living expense, right? What is your survival budget? I'm not talking about entertainment and clothes and all the fun stuff. I mean, just your basic survival. You feed and shelter yourself. Because that is the, you're not homeless. What does it take for you to not be homeless? Not where you get to wear nice shoes, but not homeless. And guess what? I'm sure your car payment probably goes in there, right? So I want you to think about what the basic living expenses are for yourself. Write them down and get comfortable with them, because that is your standard. You are not allowed to make less than that. Otherwise, you are in debt, and that is not a fun place to be. All right? And then we set goals around the standard, and then we set goals for where you want to be. You see why we're not ready to do this exercise just yet? Okay. So there's on page 19 in your handout, catch your sphere on the move. Your sphere, not your spear. Everyone says spear. I'm like, please don't spear anything. Your sphere is your sphere of influence, people you surround yourself with, your friends, your family, your coworkers in other jobs, your students, your football people, players. What am I trying to say?
Teammates.
Teammates, thank you. My gosh, it's gone. Maybe the parents of the kids who ride the bus. The felons, the ones that can die, I don't know, right? I want you to think about these people, and I want you to go, who has recently moved? And write them down. Go stalk them on social media. Who may be thinking of moving soon? And who is somewhere in the middle? Because those are the only 3 places the people in your database live. They're either thinking of moving, they just moved, or they're somewhere just floating around. And start to identify a couple people. And those are people you're going to need to reach out to. And if you flip it over, it'll tell you the Ford method. Has anybody ever heard the Ford method for dialoguing with somebody, for conversating?
Yeah.
Ray, will you read me what Ford stands for?
Family, occupation, recreation, dreams.
Ford. Hey Ray, how's the family?
Great.
Great, great. Remind me what you do for a living?
Remodeling.
You remodel, that's so
Business
cool.
owner.
When's the last time you went on vacation then? Sounds like you're really busy.
Last week,
Last week, where'd you go?
Pennsylvania.
Oh my gosh, you went and saw family, didn't you?
We did.
You were gone for a whole week.
We
Oh my
were.
gosh, that's so cool. Hey, while I got you on the line, do you have any dreams this year of like maybe going somewhere else or investing in real estate or anything like that?
Yes. I want to buy a vacation home.
Where? Pennsylvania?
No.
Oh, okay, just curious.
Somewhere warmer.
Somewhere warmer, okay. Well, just so you know, the average sales price in Hawaii is 1.1 million. So you better get back to work. Did that conversation, as quick as possible, did it still feel like I cared about what he cares about?
Yeah.
The fastest way to rapport building is to think and care about what they care about. You can't really fake it. Have you ever been like, you could tell somebody like, you're just asking me this because you're trying to get something out of me. Don't do that. They see right through it. Do it because you actually care, because you want to help them. That's where it comes from, contribution. I want to help you. But when you don't know what to say, ask about them and they will tell you. Right? Your database, your people, you call them and you say something like, hey, I just wanted to check in on you. How was your holiday? Did you guys go anywhere for the holiday season? How were the kids? Did they come home from school? Was it so fun? Did you guys do your traditions? They tell you all the things. Well, hey, I won't keep you long. I know you're super busy and getting back to work, but I just want to remind you, I just got into real estate this year and I've got some big goals for next year. I want to help 25 families because the year's 25 and I think it sounds cute to do 25 and 25. While I got you on the phone, do you have any ambitions to do real estate anything in real estate next year? Are you looking to upgrade or downsize? Are you looking to invest? No? Okay, hey, no problem. But can I count on you to remember that I do this if you ever run into somebody? Would it be okay if I called you in 6 months just to check in on you? Super simple, right? Does that sound scripted? No. Does that sound pushy? Does that sound like I'm bothering somebody? Because your first yes from them was when they picked up the phone when you called. That's a yes. They have the choice. I have the choice to not answer this, okay? I want you to look at this and then refer back to, oh, that didn't go how I planned. Supposed to just flip it over. So dramatic. All right, hold on, end scene. I want you to flip it over, right? And then think about those names. And I want you to call them and try this out on them, right? And it's gonna be clunky. It's gonna be a little clumsy the first few times. Write down the flow. Hold yourself to like remembering what to say. Don't chicken out. And if you get to the point where it just kind of like, they've insinuated that maybe they want to do something, but now you're afraid because you don't know what the next steps are, what you're gonna do is say, you know what, it kind of sounds like we should grab some coffee. When are you free next week? And you're gonna set that appointment and then you're gonna jump up for joy, high five yourself and call me, and then we will come up with a game plan. All right? Do not let the fear of not knowing what happens next get in your way from starting, because that is everyone's biggest fear and failure to launch is just, I'm not gonna take one step forward because I don't know what steps 4 and 5 look like. Okay, I got you. Susan, did I get you?
Yes, I was just thinking about that. My buyers never knew it was my first home sale because as soon as I knew they were gonna make an offer, I ran to your office.
And we just lined it out. And
was
Susan's
very
pretty
helpful.
great. She didn't actually have a lot of questions. She's one of those people that knows her stuff. And she just needed a little bit of validation, right? Some of y'all need some education, all right? Some of you need some validation, and I'm here for both of it, okay? When you look, where did it go after 4? On your last page, you've got your ahas for achievement. You guys see those? I want you guys to fill these out. If you're doing this online, maybe keep a journal, because when we take the act of taking it from here and writing it down, it does something magical in our brains and it helps us remember it, right? Now, not everybody's like that, but I am for sure. So I can remember when I would do like my buyers over the phone, and I would write everything down and I'd have doodles and it would be written all over the place, I could literally pick up that paper and remember the whole conversation. That's how my brain works, all right? But I want you to go is today, I want you to write down over the weekend, how has your thinking changed? What do you feel differently about? What was meaningful for you today? How will your behaviors be different going forward? What actions will you take? What tools, models, systems will you use? And how will they make you accountable? And if you don't know the answers, write down some questions and then let's chat about them next week, all right? So what you'll notice next week is there will be a different kind of homework. This is your accountability homework. We're gonna talk about how many conversations you're gonna have per day, how many database ads you're going to put into your database per day, how many handwritten cards you're gonna write, how many social media engagements you're gonna do. And then enrichments are kind of like what I've just given you today for assignments. All right, so let's see who was paying attention. What are your assignments for Monday?
Make a list of your vendors that you can use. And then.
With their numbers?
With their numbers,
contacts?
yeah.
Yep. Number two?
Get the total amount of money of expenses and.
Four walls living expense.
Yes.
Okay, what else?
Fill out the ahas into achievements, and if you don't know the answer, then write down some questions so we can have conversations about it.
And then the catcher spear, whatever.
Yep, catch your spear. Catch your spear. Notes her names. Some of you are going, gosh, give me 4 pieces of assignment on the first day of school. Yeah, I did, because we only have 20 days.
That's great.
And my goal for you is that you're getting contracts, written agreements, and great conversations by February 1. I would love it if y'all, every single person in here wrote agreements during January. I would love it if you get something under contract or take a listing. Man, that nothing gets me more jazzed than that, right? To graduate this class, you must be accountable to the assignments. You don't do the assignments, don't worry. I've got ways that you can make it up. The other side is you have to be engaged. 15 out of 30 classes. You can't miss more than 5 classes. Otherwise, you don't get to graduate my Ignite. Now, how can you miss a 6th class? Zoom it and we record it. So if you have to get a recording, I want to hear your feedback. That's how you give me participation points, all right? So I need a 15 out of 20 and I need you to do your assignments. And I need you to be accountable to the numbers, all right? And I'm sorry, I held you over just a little bit, only 10 minutes. Also, on these handwritten cards, don't you worry, I've got them for you. They're upstairs and I will even pay the postage on them. So when we talk about that next week, about handwritten cards and whatnot, it's good stuff, okay? Did you all get something out of today?
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. For those of you online, please email me your contact information just in case, and I will make sure that everybody in this room has the digital copy moving forward.
I keep looking and I don't.
Don't worry about it. I'll figure it out.
Get anything.
Yep, I'll figure it out.
It should be on my email, right?
It'll be in your KW email. But yeah, everybody, if you're online or in this room, email me so I know that you've been here. It's kwcoach369@gmail.com. And if you do not know, my phone number is 417-773-1065. You should save that in your phone as like my best friend, my favorite realtor.
That's what I
The
did.
person I want to give my referrals to. Totally kidding.
I want to call you 24/7.
She won't answer.
Before 8
Remember.
and
Before
after
8,
Remember, she'll call
after
you.
7, I'm good for it.
At
Before
11
8,
o'clock,
after
she'll call you
7.
at 5 a.m.
All right. I am going to go ahead and end this recording. For you online, thank you so much for participating today. And for you in the room, I will see you Monday. And again, if it snows, we will Zoom.